Okay, let's look at more compounded interest. An amount of $3,000 is invested at 12% interest, compounded daily. Find the future value in 8 years. So here we have a compounded daily interest rate. Well, remember that when it's compounded daily, our N, which is the number of times a year it's compounded, N is going to be 365. So our N is 365. The problem tells me the principal is $3,000. The interest rate is 12%, which is 0.12. And the time is 8 years. So there's our compounded interest formula. P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. And where I'll plug in my 3,000 for my principal, 0.12 for the interest rate, and 365 for the number of times each year it's compounded. So the exponent will be 8 times 365. Now, all we have to do here is put that in our calculator, but sometimes that's easier said than done. So let's come over here and review. Here, that'll work. I want you to be able to see both the problem and what I'm typing in. That's better. I like, when I'm putting this in my calculator, I like to start with the parentheses part. So I'm going to put in, this is the safest way to do it. I'll just like the parentheses, the 1 plus 0.12 divided by 365. I don't want to do too many things in one step. I just want to see what's in the parentheses. That's a little bit bigger than 1. Do not round it off. Go immediately to the exponent. The exponent here is the NT part, which is the 365 times 8. So I want to raise that to the 365 times 8 power. If your calculator gives you the caret there, be sure you enclose the 365 times 8 in parentheses. Then you should end up with this 2.6 number. Now that 2.6 is this part. So now we have to multiply that times our 3,000. Which gives us $7,835.85. So that's if it's compounded daily. That's how much we'll end up with in 8 years. Determine whether more or less money would have accrued if the money had been compounded quarterly. Whoa, quarterly now. Not 365 times a year, but only 4 times a year. So let's think about how we're going to do that. It's going to be the same formula, same interest rate and time and principal. The only part of this that's different is my R. Or my, I'm sorry, not my R, my N. I circled the right one. I said it wrong. My N here is going to be 4 instead of 365. Well, let's put that in and see what we get. Again, I want to put the parentheses part into my calculator first. So that's going to be 1 plus 0.04 divided by, oh no, I'm sorry, 0.12 divided by 4. Now I'm going to raise that to a power. I'm going to raise that part to 8 times 4 power. 8 times 4, of course, is 32. Now I'm going to take that number and multiply it by my 3,000. So this gives me $7,725.25. Well, that is less that is less than if it had been compounded daily. So we'll earn less money here than we would here. And if you think about that, the more often it's compounded, the more interest you're going to grow. The more interest would be earned, the more often it's compounded. When it's compounded less frequently, you'll end up with a little less money. If it's compounded more frequently, you'll end up with a little bit more money.